Dear friends, in the previous revision class, I said like we will continue discussing cell division in the next session also. We know that DNA is highly packed, and this packing is in a chromatid. A single double helical DNA is highly packed with a histones, nucleosome core, everything is highly packed. At last it forms a chromatid. So all these packed materials are present in the nucleus, not just like these brittle structures. It is like a highly viscous fluid. So DNA is actually, in fact, a highly viscous fluid because of the covalent as well as the van der Waals forces acting on it. There is a balance between its hydrophobic and hydrophilic nature. All these things we have discussed in the previous sessions. So this page is directly from the recommended textbook. We have to read your textbook again if you want to get it more clear. Okay. So this also we have seen in the previous session, like the chromosome starts replicating and at last it happens in the synthesis phase. Cohesion comes in act and at last all these molecules will be getting arranged and then condense and acts to form a condensed prophase stage. So prophase stage in microscope, you will see like a lot of strands are there, means you won't be able to clearly distinguish the chromosome separately. So even that stage itself is a highly condensed stage. And even after that, again, the condensing acts to make the metaphase chromosomes. And while separating, like the surprise comes in act, and all these are a group of SMCs. This also we have discussed in the previous session. So normally while going for cell division, the first and foremost preparatory step is replication, and this replication happens inside the replication fork. And this needs lot of purines and pyrimidines. That purine and pyrimidine synthesis also we have seen in the previous sessions. And this replication happens in fragments, not as a continuous single stretch. At last, everything is coalesced to form the molecule. So where we start, it is replication. So this cell cycle actually takes a lot of time to prepare for the cell division itself, and then the replication and synthesis, all these things happens in this phase, and then it starts preparing for the chromosome separation, and at last the mitosis or meiosis happens. Finally, you get the daughter cells. This is also from your recommended textbook. Regarding fungi, its perpetuation, reproduction, all these things we will discuss elaborately in the pathology sessions. So I skip it now for the time being. Whereas in viruses, the best example is a bacteriophage. Here we do have exclusively two different types of cycles, like lytic cycle as well as the lysogenic cycle. In the lytic cycle, once the multiplication happened, after that, once the host cell reached its capacity, the cell is being broken and virus shedding happens. So that is lytic cycle. In case it is lysogenic, it forms an episome with a host chromosome and then continues to transfer its information to the next host cell itself. Like once the host cell gets divided and it forms two daughter cells, the episome also goes there. So just like that, it perpetuates. Whereas in bacteria, the basic normal kind of cell division happens is through binary fission, or kind of amitosis also happens. And whenever it needs kind of variations in the progenies, it goes for bacterial recombination that happens through conjugation, transformation, and traduction. In case of algae, the major kind of propagation is fission, cell division, and fragmentation, mostly by vegetative means. And by fission, it happens in unicellular algae, blue-green algae, green algae, all these things. Okay, so just by fission, it forms the daughter cells, and it goes as a separate organism. And filamentous algae prefer to go for fragmentation just by whether it is planned fragmentation or an accidental fragmentation, it forms a new organism. And in case of tumor formation, you should not assume something like a hard potato tuber or sweet potato tuber. It is a very soft organism. So just a few tissues, means a few cells of this algae gathers together and forms a tuber-like structure. And once these tubers grows out, they forms new organism. Apart from this, buds and bulbils are also formed. This is also exclusively an algal structure, not like other onion bulb or something like that. And budding is just like yeast budding. It develops gradually and divides at last once the host cell is dividing its nucleus, then sending something to the growing bud. At last, the growing bud can get a nucleus and form a separate entity and goes out of its the mother cell and then divides into a new organism. And in case of asexual reproduction, it forms zoospores and aplanospores. The zoospores are actually highly motile and they do have flagella and cilia, whereas aplanospores are formed by forming a thick wall, means not exclusively a thick wall, relatively a thick wall. But actually it is a thin walled spore, okay? So means when it considers its own mother cell, it is a thick walled one. But when it is actually relatively compared with the other kind of spores, then it is a thin walled one. So aplanospores are actually thin walled spores. Thin walled spores, but it is thicker than the normal vegetative cell. And then again, it's an hypnospores. Normally, they are the resting spores. Relatively, when the water content goes down, these kind of spores are formed. And Pamela stage is a kind of stage where the mother cell produces a lot of cells inside in its own cell wall. Means all these new daughter cells are not liberated and enclosed by its cell wall, and then the cell wall is getting converted into a gelatinous substrate. So this gelatinous substrate tries to gather a lot of moisture and protect all these daughter cells. Once a favorable condition comes, these gelatinous outer wall is ruptured, and then all these daughter cells are liberated to produce new organisms. Then autospores are kind of resting spores, and it develops, these autospores develop a lot of different kind of spores. It can be of any type of spore it can develop. And then cyst also, we know about rhizocyst, heterocyst, all these kind of things. There are a few types of cyst. If you want, you can go through that, but it is not that much important for your exam point of view. And in case of sexual reproduction, it is of three types: isogamy, anisogamy, and oogamy. And in case of isogamy, just like in Chlamydomonas, it is like both equal function having similar structures are uniting to form a zygote. In case of anisogamy, they look structurally similar, but in case their function are a little bit different. One is active, the other one is passive. Just by their kind of activeness and passiveness, it is classified as anisogamy. And then oogamy, peculiar egg is formed, and then microspores comes and microgametes comes and forms a zygote. So there is alternation of generations. Isomorphic, heteromorphic types are also present, and then gametic, zygotic, sporic stages are also present. Then haploid, diploid, and diplontic, biontic life cycles are also present. So if you want to go through these life cycles, you can go through, but I don't think that much is needed for your exam. So just see these kind of life cycles, means what kind of life cycles are present and their exams. Just go through this. This much is enough for this exam level. So far, we have seen lower organisms. Now we are moving back to eukaryotes. So in eukaryotes, the cell division is known as mitosis and meiosis. Can anyone present this mitosis and meiosis? Because we have discussed this many times in our UG as well as PG courses. So by this time you might be ready, you might be knowing better about mitosis and meiosis. I expect some of you can present now.
Yes, ma'am, I can do, ma'am.
Yes, please proceed.
So far we have seen how DNA replication takes place and how lower organisms reproduce and multiply, right? Now we are going to eukaryotes. We know eukaryotes have two types of cell division. One is mitosis and another one is meiosis. We know mitosis will take place in somatic cells, that is nothing but body cells, right? So we know what will be the output of the meiosis. After the division, the daughter cells should be as similar to that of mother cells, right? In the case of chromosome number as well as the DNA content. So the main purpose of mitosis is nothing but the growth, development and repair of the body tissues. And in some of the organism, it is the one of the method of asexual reproduction, so that it genetically yields a similar offspring like the mother cell. So in case of meiosis, it takes place in gametic cells or the reproductive cells. So it yields gametes. For example, our egg production and sperm production, etc., takes place through meiosis process. So in the gametes, there will be reduction in number of chromosomes. So meiosis is known as reduction division, and mitosis is known as equational division. So as I said earlier, in eukaryotic cell, two types of division are there. One is mitosis, and another one is meiosis. And the important fact is the term meiosis was coined by Farmer and Moore in 1905. So coming to mitotic phase, we know cell division is an inherent property of a living organism, right? So after the G2 phase, the M phase will occur. That is, the mitotic phase will occur. And the term mitosis was first coined by Walter Fleming in 1882. This karyokinesis, karyo means nucleus, kinesis means division. So this nuclear division will be followed by cytokinesis, so that we will be getting two daughter cells from a single mother cell. So after M phase, the cell may enter in either interphase to repeat the cell cycle or either G0 phase to arrest the cell cycle. It depends upon the cell. Anyway, the M phase will start after the G2 phase and ends before the G1 phase. So karyokinesis, as I said earlier, in mitosis, karyokinesis takes place in mainly 4 stages. One is prophase, another one is metaphase, then anaphase, followed by telophase. Pro means primitive, that is primitive phase. This is the first phase. Then comes metaphase, and then anaphase and telophase. So this is a whole picture of what is happening in mitosis. So after interphase, right, the DNA content will be doubling, right? So then it will, after the G2 phase, it will enter into M phase. In each stages, what is happening that we are going to see. In prophase, you can see chromosomes duplicate to produce the sister chromatids, and the duplicated chromosomes started condensing. Condensing of chromosome takes place in prophase. And in metaphase, these duplicated chromosomes migrate to equatorial planes of the cell, and the nuclear membrane breaks down. And these sister chromatids of each duplicated chromosome move to opposite poles of the cell during the anaphase. Then these chromosomes decondense and new nuclear membrane will form at the last stage, that is in the telophase. And again, the membrane forms between daughter cells, that is cytokinesis, and we'll be getting two daughter cells which will be intact and similar to that of the original mother cell. This is what happening in mitosis. The important thing is there is no DNA, there is no change in DNA content, as well as there is no change in chromosome number in the daughter cells after this mitosis. So that it is known as equational division. So coming to meiosis, as I said earlier, meiosis is known as reduction division because it's happening in gametic cells, right? So after meiosis, we have to get gametic cells. That is, the chromosome number should be reduced to half of that of parent cell. Then only when two gametes combine, we'll be getting a diploid organism. Otherwise, it will become double the number of chromosomes, chromosome number, and it will be another organism. It is not happening, right? So gametic cells should be half the number of the body cell. So gametic number is reducing in meiosis. And meiosis, there are two phases, meiosis 1 and meiosis 2. And each meiosis have different phases as like mitosis. It is also having prophase, metaphase, anaphase, and telophase. In meiosis 1, the stages are prophase 1, metaphase 1, anaphase 1, and telophase 1. Again, this prophase will be divided into another 5 stages. We will be seeing in detail later. That is in prophase 1. In prophase 1, we can see a diploid cell. It will start condense. It will start condense, and in metaphase, it will arrange to equatorial plane. In anaphase, the chromosome will be moving to opposite poles. And finally, the after telophase, the cytokinesis will take place, and we'll be getting 4 daughter cells. So the prophase 1, in prophase 1, there are 5 substages, important substages are there. It is leptotin, zygotin, packaging, diplotin, and diakinesis. The first stage is leptotin, which is known as the bucket stage. You can see the chromosomes are arranged like a bucket, so it's known as bucket stage. In the case of zygotin, we can see it's a zipper-like structure, that is synapses happen. That is homologous chromosomes, right? Homologous chromosome will begin to pair each other, and it will form like a zipper. That's why it is known as zipper stage. You can see the synaptonymal complex there. So after leptotin, the cell will move to zygotin stage. Then it moves to packaging stage, where you can see the fully paired chromosome. That is, homologous chromosome will be completely paired, and their crossing over takes place. So the significance of packaging stages, crossing over takes place in packaging stage, and we can see the tetrad also. Then comes to diplotin stage. We can see the chiasma. The chiasma, then the chromosome each having the sister chromatids, and it begins to condense, and then it moves to diakinesis, and then it moves to meiosis phase 2. Then it comes to metaphase. Metaphase, the chromosome will be arranged in equatorial position, that is at the middle of the cell, then followed by anaphase 1 and telophase 1. So this is the whole picture of what is happening in the prophase 1, different stages, leptotin, zygotin, packaging, diplotin, and diakinesis. You can see the dissolution of the nuclear membrane after the diakinesis stage, that is at the end of the prophase 1. You can see the crossing over takes place and how the genetic material looks like. Here we can see the exchange of genetic materials at the end of the prophase 1 stage, and this leads to variation of the organism. Then after the meiosis 1, there will be interkinesis phase. The interphase after the first meiotic division is known as interkinesis. It may be present or absent between mitosis 1 and meiosis 2, but the stage is noted in many organisms. It can be present or absent. If present, it may be very short time. It will be in very short time. In some cases, telophase 1 directly enters to prophase 2. It is similar to interphase except for the absence of replication of DNA. So here you can see the crossing over very nicely in prophase 1, then followed by metaphase 1. Then you can see chromosome moving to opposite sides with the help of spindle fibers. You can see clearly in this phase. And then the cells move to telophase stage. Then cytokinesis happens, and after the first meiosis, the cell divides into two. So meiosis 1 happened, and now the cell moves to meiosis 2. Here also four stages are there, that is prophase 2, metaphase 2, anaphase 2, as well as telophase 2. In prophase 2, the cells are haploid cells made in meiosis 1. After meiosis 1, the cell becomes haploid, right? So because the chromosomes will be moving opposite side, and the cells become haploid in nature. So this haploid cells in meiosis, they will start condensing, and it will also arranged in the Kitchore plane in metaphase 2. Then this will be separated by spindle fibers after anaphase 2, and finally you can see two different daughter cells are produced from a single cell. So after meiosis 1, we got two cells, right? So here two cells are there, each cell becomes 2. So finally we will be getting 4 daughter cells after the whole meiosis process. So we will be getting 4 daughter cells after meiosis, but in mitosis we are getting only 2 daughter cells. That is the difference between mitosis as well as meiosis. And if you check the cell content, that is if you
Okay, so this is the overall conclusion of what she has presented. I think from which book she has taken, I couldn't see the citation in her slides. It's okay, maybe somewhere in or something like that. She might have taken it. I think it is from your recommended textbook only. So that's good. Somewhere she was fast and slow. Definitely, it will be sufficient enough to all these recollection of what you have studied earlier. So this is the overall picture of the cell division, what she has explained. And this is the final conclusion, like there are 2 daughter cells from mitosis and 4 from the meiosis. Okay. So what actually happened is spindle fiber as well as kinetochores, all these things happen. So once we have discussed that, these kinetochores are exactly the number of centromeres. Okay, so if there are more number of centromeres, there will be more number of kinetochores. Kinetochores are group of proteins. Structure means proteins. A group of proteins joined together form a kinetochore complex. And here you see like there are only one centromere and it gets stretched from only one point, means one centromere, one kinetochore. And if that binding is not happening properly, then it will be a random separation. And at last, if you are having more number of centromeres, more number of kinetochores, and more number of pulling, and it can break the chromosomes into many. So this happens in kind of some kind of aberrations. So that's all for this session. We will have some molecular techniques in the next discussion class. Thank you. If you are having questions, text me.